Hey everybody, it's jrobi. I'm going to be going through a match here I had on the free internet chess server. It's a match that I did lose, and I'm throwing it up here for discussion. Um, I found a couple areas that I think that I've made a tactical mistake, but there could be more, and I think it's a good practice to go through the loss once in a while and take a look. Like sometimes you make really obvious blunders in online play, depending on your time limits. The lower the time limit, the more blunders you're apt to make. But I have noticed that if you have a game that doesn't have any obvious blunders, you can learn quite a bit about it. So I'm jrobi and I'm black here, and my opponent's almost 1700 in rating, so he's fairly up there, and so I'll take you through the match here. So he's going into the ready and transposing into the King's Indian. And I play pawn to d5, seeing if he wants to go with the main line ready, which is as follows, like that. But he doesn't want to do that. He's going right into the King's Indian. So here I play bishop to g4, attacking the knight. Moves his bishop into position, and I move pawn now to c5. I was thinking at the time that this would give me a fairly good coverage over these squares here. So I think up to here, positionally, I'm fine. He castles. I play pawn now to e6, and he brings up the pawn, attacking the bishop. So instead of retreating the bishop here, I take, and he takes with the pawn. Usually I see the bishop take here, so I found this interesting. I actually thought at this position here, when I was analyzing my position, that I was a little bit better off. Now, this pawn here, though, is going to be useful in the future, as you'll see he'll bring it down here, and it'll be attacking e5. So I play knight to f6, and my opponent goes pawn to d3. And now I go bishop out. I just want to get the castling over with. So he brings his rook now to the e-file, and I castle. Now he plays his pawn up, attacking e5. So he's going to be making a push for e5. So I go knight to c6. Knight to c6 is attacking these squares here, along with these squares. So I felt it was a good position. And he goes now knight to d2. And this is a standard place for the knight to be in the King's Indian, and he's attacking these squares, or not that square, but this square, here and here. So I actually move my pawn up here, seeing if he wants to take with this pawn. I think this might have been a mistake that I made as well, because he's got two pieces attacking the pawn here, and I've only got one. And it's a c-file pawn, and in order to recapture, if I wanted to, I'd have to use a center pawn. So I think this is one of my mistakes. He plays now knight to f3, and I come up to b5 with my pawn. So it's like I'm building the Great Wall of China here. I wasn't happy with how spread out my pawns were already so early in the match. Like we're only on move 11. But I wanted to get another defender on that pawn. Now with his knight move, he's now attacking here, here, here. And so he's building up a nice solid coverage in the center here, kind of coming in from the side, which is what the King's Indian does. So he comes in now with his knight to outpost to e5, and I capture and he captures. So now he's converted this f-file pawn here into a center pawn. So that was not a good trade for me at all. Now I have to move the knight back, so I'm losing tempo here. And he solidifies the center pawn structure. So I go bishop, offering a trade, and he just moves his pawn now to f4. So he is exposing his king. However, with all the pawns here, there's not a lot that I can mount up. So I pull the bishop back. He goes bishop to d2, giving his bishop access to both sides, depending on what he wants to do. So right now my opponent's actually got his bishop there. He's got his bishop here. His pawns are covering some pretty good squares. And his rook is here. And his queen has access as well. In my position, I have a bishop attacking along this diagonal. this diagonal, my knight is attacking this square and this square, and my queen is fairly limited right now, only coming out to here, and my rooks really aren't involved in the match at all. So from here I play pawn to a5. I was thinking at the time that I had to open things up here. He plays pawn to g4, so it's kind of like a little pawn storm coming here on the king side. And now I go queen to b6, attacking this undefended pawn. So he plays pawn to c3, and now I play pawn to b4. He doesn't capture though, he just moves his rook into position, so that if I take, he takes, my queen's under attack, and I can't really take that rook. So what I do here is I play pawn to f6. He captures, I capture with the bishop. So I'm trying to open things up on the diagonals. He plays rook now to e2, and I play rook to e7. And he gets his queen behind his rook, so building up pressure along the e-file here. So I go now rook to f7, and he takes with his bishop here. And I take with my bishop there, putting him in check, thinking at the time that if he would capture the bishop back, that from here I could come in, check, force the king to move or the queen to block, and then hit the bishop. So for example, if he moved, hit the bishop, putting me up a pawn. But instead of doing that, he just moves his king to g2. So my bishop is in a precarious position here. So I move my rooks on the same file, and now he takes here, and I take the bishop here. This leads to rook takes on e7 here, so I recapture. He brings in his queen now to capture there, and then from here I play knight to f8. He brings his rook now to the e-file, so I drop my queen, thinking that if he brought his queen down, I might just recapture the queen. But I thought of something else, so I go to d6. He brings his rook down, and here's where I make a blunder. I play bishop to f6, and totally missed out on this mate sequence here, which is how the game ended. I think a better move would have been queen to f6, because I think from here it would have equalized the material a little bit. So if he still comes in, you know, it could have went down like that, and at this point in time, you know, I would be up a piece. So, you know, it would have been a little bit better play. Now, that's assuming that he would have continued along that line to get this material off the board. There would have been a number of options for him to try here. You know, for example, he could have used his, you know, he used his pawn here to attack the queen, and various things like that. So it's really tough to say how that would have worked out. Could have moved queen here, I guess. You know, and I think it would have been definitely a more interesting ending, especially if the material was equaled out after queen here. Queen here, there, and here. You know, a lot of things could have happened, I think, here. I think he would have just taken there. He would have had a pretty good shot at getting this down for promotion. I might have just captured here, and then maybe move the bishop back here, protecting a7, and then try to get my knight and king more involved in the endgame. But you know, it was a good match anyway. I think here it was I was just tactically outplayed, and it's good to be tactically outplayed once in a while to learn how to, you know, get better at the tactics. And so hopefully you guys will see something that I missed, and hope you enjoy the video. Take care.